2, 3, you're on.
Okay, so we're live on YouTube, and this is our fourth take on trying to get this done. I hope this is working right now. I don't know if you guys hear me okay. You guys hear me okay there? Give me a thumbs up on the chat if you guys hear me okay. Yeah, Mariano, are we hearing me okay? Just give me a thumbs up. No? Okay, well, I don't know if you guys hear me okay or not, so I need some confirmation from someone that you guys can hear me okay. No? Can you guys hear me okay? I don't have the chat here.
Yeah.
They can hear me okay? You good? Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much for coming in to this live stream TV show that I was going to try to do today. I'm pretty excited. It's the first time that we're trying to do something like this. This is our test run. Obviously, we're trying to figure out all the mechanics of this, and we are actually 4 people trying to figure out how to do this. I have my partner here, Robert, filming everything that we're doing. We have Mariano, John, and Fer on the controls. So we have people, 2 in Argentina, 1 in New York, and myself and Robert here in Texas trying to get this for you guys today. So again, first time, so give us a break, and we're trying to do best for the next time. Actually, we have a schedule, the real events coming up in a couple of weeks. We'll be doing one on Spanish at 5 o'clock and another one at 7 o'clock Central Time. And for that, we're actually going to give you guys a chance to give me some suggestions of what would you like to see when I come here to do a haircut. So it's going to be, we're going to try to see if that works well. We're trying to do one event every month when we let the community let us know what haircut you guys want to see, and then I'll try to perform it here. We'll give you guys a chance to add some questions. Maybe can answer some questions or things that you guys have about haircuts for the professionals or for the consumers. It's going to be good for consumers and professionals. I'm going to try to keep it all real for all of you guys. Today what I want to do is kind of share a little bit the process of deconstruction that I use. And we're going to be filming this actually haircut. This is going to be a haircut from Gets in Impact, and the character is called Kevin, and Okabe, sorry. And actually this was the most requested haircut that I got when I did my last character of Gets in Impact Scaramouche. So I think this is going to be something that a lot of people want to see. It's kind of interesting because it's a mix of a wolf cut style and with a little bit of the Medusa kind of style hair. Medusa styles normally go round and they have longer tails on the sides, but because it's not very defined, I think it's a little bit more of a kind of wolf cut, similar than what we did for the Scaramouche, but the Scaramouche is very like aggressive, cut into a ball. So it's going to cut up a lot more like pieces into it. I'm going to actually share my screen. Well, actually, I'm going to be pulling this, share my screen a little. I guess I'm going to share my screen. No, maybe I won't share my screen because that one kind of crazy. See if you can just put this one right here. And I don't know if you guys can see this character. I hope you guys can see it. Can you see the character on that main screen? Oh no, you're still seeing me. Okay, so let me do the screen. Share the screen. Can you guys see it now on that? Robert, can you see the character, or is just like a multiplication of all of them going backwards? No, you can see. Okay, well, you guys can see it on the corner. Okay, so let's just go with that. Let's just go with the corner here. No, I'm making a mistake here really quick. So let me just cut this off here. Okay, so oh my goodness, let's go to my main camera. So you guys see here on this side here. Okay, so we're going to try to do that haircut. What I'm going to share first with you guys the process of deconstruction, which actually this is something that's very relevant because a lot of people come to the salon. Now maybe some of you guys, the consumers, like to go to the salon as for a particular haircut. No, it looks like a certain haircut from a movie star, a character, some celebrity, or just a haircut you found online that you really like. And then you go to the professional and ask, can you cut my hair like this? And some professionals can do really great haircuts. And then very few actually can cut the hair like a picture. And that's not because they couldn't do it, it's because they haven't figured out a way to do it, because they haven't been asked enough or been taught how to do it. So that's why I create this process of deconstruction, to allow people to actually see the picture being able to take it apart and then put it all back together. And I actually put a online education course that you guys can all follow at the hairbendermaster.com. If it's any of you guys professionals here watching this, you can come and access that. You guys have a 2 weeks free access to see it. And even if you're a consumer, you can come and check it out. You can always become part of the community. And part of that I do as well is just give you guys continued information. So this is not just one time that you get to see this, but it's something you get to do continually. So I'm going to start by sharing with you guys this process. So I'm going to come up here to this side. You guys see I set up here some piece of paper. And when I teach, this is what I like to do because this is a really great visual. If you was going to be looking at this particular haircut that I see here on the corner, I'm going to be looking at what is the focal point. So if you was going to talk about this focal point on this particular character or picture, it's going to be the bang area. No, so this guy is really long bang, and it kind of looks very PC. I'm going to say that it's I can't see it very well because it's only small here, but I would say it's kind of past the point of the nose. So if I was going to look at my sheet here, I'm going to do what's called the artistic drawing, which is basically like to draw the hair like if it was a regular drawing. And then I'm going to project it into the graphic design because all based on math how you cut the hair. So let me just show you the process. So this is my bangs. Now it depends on sometimes when you look at these characters or the pictures, it always depends on the angle that you see or when in the season the pictures are. They can have medium to more long hair or even longer hair. If you go to art fan, the drawings that other people do about the characters, so it could be a little bit more of the change. So you can see this character, having the length kind of hitting on the shoulders, on some of the shorter versions, and kind of long on the back. So for my mannequin today, I'm going to go with as long as I can do it, which will be like the same if you're a client. If your hair is longer to here, I can keep it as long as this. If your hair is as long as here, you're going to keep as long as you have it, and then you can continue growing if you want even longer hair. So let's say for this haircut, we're going to say that it's somewhere about this length, which is going to match a little bit what I have with my mannequin head. So let's just say about this area. And then the other thing that you're trying to do as well is you're trying to do what is called the waistline. No, so is this area where you actually see the first layer sitting. Now, if you were looking at my hair, this particular hair that you see on the front, this is what is called my waistline. My layer sits here, and the device what we call the inactive area from the active area. So this is all the layers area. My haircut is more like a flow hairstyle, so it's allowing me to get this graduated, this positive angle kind of my haircut that creates this angle. This one is going to have similar kind of waistline about right here, kind of following the bangs, so you can see around the bangs has some layering. And that's what it's called, like the style like a Medusa, has like a ball, like you put a ball on top of his hair and then you just got a line, no? So basically, if I was going to look at that, I'm going to say that maybe somewhere about the middle of the ear, right part of the ear is going to be that length that you see there. So I'm doing the artistic drawing. I'm going to throw a bangs here. I'm going to throw some bangs. That'll be the bangs that I see. Then I see that on the back, it goes like long like this. It's got some pieces like that. And then this one, it goes from here to the waistline. So all of this hair is going to be sitting somewhere on the waistline like this. Obviously, it goes more piecey like this. But that's very relevant that you guys see this line that I see right here. So that's my length, that's my waistline, that's my bangs. Now he's got actually some pieces that they are longer coming here as well, and then just connected all this like layers like that. So this is what I call the active area where all the layers are, and this is what we call the inactive area where no layers are available. So no layers and layers. Now how you take that to actually cut the hair? Well, then you actually take those measurements and do the same thing. Or they say, okay, well, my length is going to be around here for my bangs. My length is going to be somewhere about right here for my length. I know that this is my waistline. From here all the way here is my waistline. So this is the waistline. And this is going to be framed from whenever I feel my bangs to my length. So this is what is called the active area. And this is the inactive area. Another thing that is very relevant as we teach people doing this is like we always follow the A panels of the head, which is the octagon of the head. So it's always A panels on the hair where you actually can pull the hair at 90 degrees from the head. So I'm going to project the hair up at 90 degrees from each panel. This is how it would look like the hair in the space if it was super, super long. So again, the first thing that you do is do an artistic drawing, and at the beginning you practice by doing these drawings. This is all part of the course that we teach. So you can train your mind and your eyes to see where is the length, where is the bangs, where is the frame, where's the frame, where is the way line, where is my inactive area, and where is my active area. That is what you're looking up to be able to deconstruct the haircut and look at all the elements. Obviously, you know, when you progress on the education, you're looking at color, no? Where's the color? Where's the color placement? Where's the color structure? If it's texture on the hair, where is the texture? Is it straight? Is it curly? Where's the direction of the haircut? Is it going up? Is it going under? Is it going forward? Is it going backwards? So all of those are the elements that you're truly looking at it, and it's no more than that. If you can determine all of those, then you can make quick decisions to cut the hair very quick because you're actually going to the point. You're going to see me how I actually do the drawing, and then when I go to cut, I'm going to follow the same pattern. So I will start by what I did first, which was, where is my bangs? I will determine the bangs, I'll cut the bangs. Then I'm going to determine what my length is, I'll cut the length, and then I'm going to connect the frame from my bangs all the way to my length. And then I'm going to create a way line, then it kind of goes around the head following that first line that I just created. So by doing that, I already achieved 90% of my haircut. Then I'm going to blow dry the hair, I can style it, and then I can texturize, I keep adding more blending or more texture or more direction, depends what I need of volume. Okay, so now to get to figure out how to these angles I cut it and what it cuts, I use my fingers or a compass or a ruler to get measurements. So I know that all the hair on this top part of the head, which is called the top area of the haircut, is going to be sitting on what we call the way line. So every single measurement is going to be measured against this line. So if you look at this one here, it's going to be right there. So that's my measurement like this, this one right here, this one right there. This is going to be the same, is the same hair at 90 degrees from this point as from this point. So if you look at the measurement from here, you see that's the same. Now you see that the angle is different because it's following the curvature of the hair. So that's following the curve of the hair. It's not completely straight. So then I measure this one right here and it gives me a straight line. Now, obviously this is straight and it looks straight to the bottom. Now it is not the same way here because of the curve of the hair. So that's why you cannot use this as a reference to cut the hair and go across. You cut the hair so short and you got having shorter layers. Maybe some of you guys experience this doing haircuts, or you actually getting a haircut, you experience like people cutting it way too short on the top because they were using as a reference your bangs, which is way lower on the curve of the head than this part of the head. So the same measurement is from here as is there. So it's the same measurement. And then you get this one here as well, from here to there. Now, this curvature, it looks curved, but as it falls down, it's going to look straight because it's following the curve of the head. Now, the next measurement that you already know when you cut the perimeter is the length right here. So I have my length, it going from here all the way down to this point. So this length from here to there, when I cut the perimeter, I create this line. So this is a given. All of these were given by the decision that I decided to where I want my way line. So I didn't have to think about it, I just need to decide where I want my way line, and this was created by that. So now I know this one is the same length from here to there and from here to there. So this is the length. And now the only thing I need to do is connecting this point to that. Now if you wanted to get wispy or kind of a lot of layers, I can just go straight out like this, cut that off, and then I'm going to get all the movement that I want, which is a lot of what this haircut has. This haircut has a lot of layers. If you guys can look at this one picture here on the top, and the middle top, you can see the hair is kicking out this way. So that's what I'm looking at. If you wanted to preserve a little more hair, I could have come out to an angle a little more far out, and just preserve a little more length on this area. So now that's basically the process of deconstruction. When I do these haircuts, I always use this. I always have a storyboard like the one you guys see right here, so I can look at all those points of reference. And when I'm cutting the hair, I'm constantly looking at those points of reference, so I know exactly what am I doing. So I'm going to actually get that reference to myself here. I was going to hope to be able to have it for you guys to see it, but we're having some difficulties, trying to get all this stuff on the screen. Next time then we do this, we hope that we can figure out a better way to do it. But I'm going to have it here as a reference for me in the background here, because I need to be able to cut the hair and I need to be able to look at that. It's not possible to cut hair and make it look like a picture if you can be looking at the picture at all the time. So here I have it on the corner for myself so I can watch it as I'm talking to you guys. Okay, and I'm going to move myself to this area. Now, I know that you guys may be having some questions. I do not have a way to see the I can't see the questions because I'm no way connected properly here, so I can't see the questions. So if there's any questions, anyone has any questions, just put it out there, and I'll try to see if somebody in my team can let me know what kind of question you guys have, and I'll try to answer it as well. So, how am I doing here, Robert, for the screen? We're good? So how are we doing here for the? We're good now? Like, move this up right here. Okay, actually we are recording this as well, so we'll be actually making a video of this because I want you guys to see how I do the whole thing on process. Like, you guys see mostly all the videos just done. I want you guys to be able to see this. Okay, I have here somebody say, Ren, can Angel can do workout like a, oh, Aizawa, yeah. Aizawa, I already made Aizawa. Aizawa is on the channel already. So actually it's a really cool hairstyle. I did it with 2 ponytails. I put 1 ponytail here and 1 ponytail on the back and cut the whole thing in 2 cuts, and you got the wolf cut style of that. So definitely check it out, the video, because it's already available. So, and I hope that answered your question, but just check it out because I love the hairstyle. That was a great hairstyle, and I did it in a really quick way. Actually, if you take the course, it's one of the cuts that I use to actually teach people condensed cutting within the course that I create for professionals. All right, so I'm going to put something more moisture into the hair. Normally when I cut the hair, I wanna do it a little wet. Actually, I'm going to be using the razor. So for razor cutting, I always suggest to have the hair highly moist. And thank you for participating and actually ask questions and all that. I really appreciate that. So the goal of this is that you guys can really, get immersed on what we're trying to do. Maybe help you guys out to connect with someone that actually can do the hair like I do. Maybe you becoming someone that can do the hair like I do. That's what we're creating, the whole community. We do have a couple of people already finished the course. One in San Diego. Actually, his name is Diego as well too, so it's kind of easy to remember. And it's more like more on the LA area. And then I have another person in the Guadalajara area called Nicolette that is actually certified. You guys can see some of their work on my social media as well. So actually, we have people already being able to do some of the work that I do. So for that, I'm going to be using the razor as mentioned. So here we are. I'm going to be using what's called a feather razor. So a lot of people watch me doing this and so that's kind of interesting. I like to use only the blade because it gets me close to the action of what I'm going to be cutting. So it allows me to cut the hair with more control than if I was using a regular razor with a handle, which makes me go far away. Sometimes I use the handle for other particular techniques, but for this area, when I'm going to be using what's called freeform technique, I won't. So you guys can see well on the front here. I'm going to start with the front part first. For doing this whole haircut, I'm going to separate the front to the back. So I'm going to separate basically just around this area, just behind the ear. That's where normally sits well for the mannequins. Does that look right, Robert? Look here. Okay, so I'm doing that. So I'm separating both sides because I'm going to be cutting first the front bangs area on the sides, and then we're going to be connecting it to the length that I created on the back. All right, so if you're looking at my picture first, the most important piece is going to be this one. So I'm going to create a nice little triangle in the center, right here. Okay, and I'm going to create a very pointy hairstyle here on the center to come down, and then I'm going to cut this from this point down into the center, and then I'll do the same thing. Now, if you don't cut bangs like this, what I'm going to do now, you will never be able to get that kind of like pointy kind of look on the bangs, because if you cut it any other way, we won't actually do this. So this is the way you can actually get the hair to do that pointy look that we're talking about just by itself when you're styling. Obviously, it's going to be hard to have this kind of long hair on the front on real life. If it's going to be on your face all the time, it looks good, or maybe on the character on anime, but it's going to be very hard to actually have it in a way that actually fits into your face. Or you have to be able to do this and then just like kind of go the sides a little more off, which is what he does as well too, because you can see the next piece is going to be another section that I come here. Okay, you gotta be careful to don't get into the sides. You see this part here? I want to avoid getting into this piece, so I'm just working only on the bang area, because if you start getting into this piece, you'll be chopped up in the sides. So I do the same thing here. I press this up, take this down, then I gotta decide where I want to start. The same thing. So I'm going to be thinking, okay, if I started right there, I can start at the same point, and then I'm going to go from here down. And then I come back from this and do the same thing. So I basically just create another point right there. I'm going to take some time to actually work on this and make it a little more pointy. So I'm going to come back again a little more, come back a little more, and make it a little more pointy. Same thing with the center piece. Going to be in the center, but I want to give it a little bit more, a little bit more. So it's very pronounced. Then I'm going to get me another section from this side. Remember, I'm going to try to avoid cutting anything that goes on the side, so I gotta clear all that out. Bring it down. See where I started that one right there. So I'm going to start the same thing as right there. So it's like creating like an M shape. So I just go down to the length that I want it, and I come back from the other side and do the same thing. Okay. More. There we go. So with that and that, basically I got what I need. So the important thing that you can see that I done is I determine when I start, I go down, 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 down. So I create a zigzag, very thick zigzag points. So there you have it. That's the segment. Now, if you're going to be looking at the sides right now, you can see that the sides, they kind of drop down a little bit more. It's got these pieces underneath the ears, and they are like longer, and they sit somewhere about past the chin, like I feel like a couple or 3 fingers behind the chin. So I will look at this. I'll say, okay, this piece is going down past about 2-3 fingers from that. So it's disconnected from that. I could like connect it by slide cutting from here down to that point. But if you want to keep it more disconnected, I just grab it and I start doing from wherever I want to start it to the length that I want to do. And then I come back from the other side and do the same thing. Right there. And I add that piece right there. Let's see one more time. Right here. And I got to go a little bit deeper. Right there. Then after that, I gotta cut this layer, so don't worry too much about it. I just want to get me the pointing up, because I eventually have to go all over around this crown area to create the way line that we were discussing. So I'll go the other side and do the same thing. I mean, not Robert, do I look okay in the camera right there? Yeah. A little more like this way. Excellent. And you guys can see it well there too. So I go back to this, common natural fall. This is common natural fall. If you project the hair to different places, if you cut this, it's going to be short to long. If you bring it up here, it's going to be short to long. So I'm going natural fall because I want to curve the hair. Okay, I figured out where I started my other piece right here. You see that? Kind of on the chin area. So I know I started on the chin. And then I went down. And then I came to the other side. Started basically on the same area. And take it down. I'll do this a few times until I carve that point. Okay. Maybe somebody, since you guys asked about the Iwatha haircut, maybe somebody on the background can like find the video and give you guys the link and put it on the chat so you guys can find it later. So I'm basically trying to like have it match both sides, carving both sides and giving me the same finish on both sides. Carving a little on the top as well, give me a little more pointy. Alright, so if you guys look at now the front, you have that front now, right here in the front, okay? So what I'm doing is I got this section cut out, and I gotta just trim a little bit this one here, give it a little thinner, because it's a little too thick. Take it a little bit down. Or if you're doing this in front of a mirror, it'll be a lot easier, because you can see better what you're trying to do. But just right there, I got exactly what I needed. So I got the pointy, and the 2 points. So that's a big part of the haircut. Now the last part I need to do before I start cutting the layers is, as I was talking here, at first this section right now, so I just work all this area. right here, and I just cut this section right here as well too. So I'm about right here on the haircut, remember, somewhere about behind here right there. So now what I need to do now is cut this layer, then cut the length. So I'm going to be coming to the length. Remember, my goal here was to try to preserve as much long as possible here. So I don't want to cut a lot, I want to keep it as long as possible, but it's, you know, very thin on the bottom. So I'm going to take it as low as I can, and I'm just going to carve it right there. Give me enough so I can get enough kick. Maybe right here, so it's not too exaggerated. Okay, so that's a good length. So I got a good length right now. So that's a good length for that. And now all I need to do is just connect right here. I'm going to be connecting this point to my length. So I comb the hair on natural fall. I place the blade where I want it to start, where I finish on the other side. And I'm going to be carving this as I go down. I do a couple of passes in case I miss any hair. And if you look at the haircut, you can see that's all connected down where I need to be. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay, right there, so you guys can see it. Oh, you can see this way. You can see this way, my bad. All right here. I'm going to find where I started the other one here. So I start right there. I'm going to go down. There we go. One more time, in case I miss any hair. Alright, so you guys see how I use the structure. Again, the bangs, the size, the length, and then the frame. Following the same way I did on my drawings right there. Now the next thing I need to do is what we were talking about, is getting this way line. So remember, the way line, what I want to do is I want it to be matching my front bang. So it's going to be somewhere about this length. This is where I want most all the layers to be sitting. Now when you cut the head and wet, if you was going to cut it there, when it dries out, it's going to go a lot higher. So I would recommend to cut the head 2 fingers longer as it goes around the head before you blow dry, because as you get this volume and it's going to get on the top, it's going to lose all the extra length. So if I was going to be safe here, I'm going to come up, remember we were trying to do this whole part of the top of the head. Okay, I'm going to take it to where I want to have it. Let's say I want it to be sitting about the bang, so I'm going to go a little lower. So let's say about right here, and I'm going to carve it right there. Now again, if I was going to go for the kill, I will have cut it even a little shorter, but if you cut it shorter, when it gets up, it's going to raise up a lot more. So right now I already got that layer that I want sitting right there. You see that's following my bang right there. You can see this is hanging, but I see all this piece here is piecing up on the top right there. So I'm going to go across the hair and do the same thing. So I get another section here, following the top of the head. So basically I'm doing this back part right here. This is the area, this is the partition I'm doing. This is all the hair that is sitting on this line that I'm creating here. I'm going a little higher because, you know, it's going to be a little more layered up. So right here, I'm going to take it down. I see where I ended my other part right there. So I'm going to be right there on the lowest part of the hair, not on the highest, so right there on the lowest part. I'm going to be carving it right there. And like what I do is I just stay always on front of the section I'm going to be cutting. So I stay kind of equal to it. Again, remember this is going to puff up a lot. So I was sitting right there. You can see how it's sitting in the right place. You start already creating that Medusa style. Turn around this. Here. So here we'll cut a section from the top. And we'll drop the bottom. Take it down to where it sits. I look up for the longest piece that I cut right there. That becomes my guy. Not the one from behind, because if you know it will be too short. So the last piece that I cut right there. I'm carving horizontally, so I can create a horizontal heavy line. And right there you guys can see how it's already doing that kind of shape. So getting that shape there. And I'm just going to continue going around the head. We're still good on the... Continue going straight, bring it back, down, find my longest piece right here, curve around again. Right there. Then I just get the last piece here on the top. And I'm going to be following the same guy. Now on this one I can actually see where I want to end and where I begin. So I'm really very easy for me to follow right now what I'm doing here, just to match the other side. So I was able to go around the head and get to match in both sides. See how that looks on this side? Kind of heavy on the trunk right there, and then this hanging piece right there. So it's disconnected, so it's graduated here and then disconnected right here. We'll test drive only later, that part, but we'll wait to do that later on when it's dry. Okay. All right, so now the last thing I need to do is just kind of connect this layer to the perimeter layer. Now I want to create some layers. Again, this is very long, and obviously these mannequins do not have like a full head of head. But I'm going to use the condensed cutting technique for this piece. To drop the mannequin a little bit so I can access the technique right here. I'm going to be using the two techniques, which is the, basically allowing me to compress the hair all in one place, right here in the middle. Is I can control all the hair all at once, right here. So my goal now is to connect that to the perimeter, so I come to this side of the head, and then I'm going to pull out from that point, and then I'm going to start carving out the hair. To connect with my perimeter. So one scoop, I already create the layers that I wanted right there. I'm going to do that not just on the center, but I'm going to do it on both sides. So I'm going to come back here to that side, this side, and do the same thing. And then to the opposite side. Take it down, find my length. That's my length right there. Pull it up, and then start carving. See, I'm just cutting and moving. Just cutting and moving. Right here, same. Let me put this on this way so you guys can all see it well as well. So right here you see my guy. So I go past that, take it out, and then just use my thumbs to guide my cutting. What I'm doing is basically, I could use the razor and cut this out with the razor, and you see my shears, and what I'm doing is I'm doing like a little cut as I move down. These are actually like a German blades, so they have serrated teeth, so you cannot like cut it because it will like pull the head, so I gotta do little cuts as I go. And basically, if I was going to check my haircut, just with my fingers right now, you will notice that, see how the haircut is like being cut in short to long, and got all the layers that I want here. And then if you go around the head, same thing here. So it's like if you was like cut it like that. Okay, right there. Like if you just like cut it right there. And then on the other side, the same thing here. Same thing. There we go. So that's basically how this haircut could be done. Let me actually close this window so I can see it. Okay, so this will be like 80% of your haircut. Again, now we're going to I'm going to actually dry the hair and try to give it some style, and then I'm going to be texturizing all this area right here and blend it. But you guys can see how this hair already has all that length. It's got all the layers. It still has that kind of longer top, but it's very long on the back. So you can actually do only a texture here and get really, really cool finish, or braids, or whatever you want to do. So let me just blow dry this really quick. And in the meantime, if anybody has any questions, you guys can let me know, and I can try to answer for you guys as well. Let me do this really quick. Okay. Oh, cool. All right. So let's see. If it looks like I made some questions here. Vegeta. Okay, yeah. I got the T-shirt of Vegeta. I would like to do the Vegeta hairstyle, but obviously you got to have somebody with like really pointy hairline to be able to do that. So, okay. Thank you all for you guys joining in. Well, this will look good on real life. Of course, it will look good in real life. That's what I use these mannequin heads. These mannequin heads basically, obviously, allow me to actually get a model here that I can do right away, and being able to show you guys the end product and result. The challenge with let me get on this here. The challenge with getting models is that you don't always get the model wants to do what you want to do. So sometimes you guys ask me for haircuts, and whenever I get a model, I'm very happy to be able to do, but I don't always get those models to do what you guys always ask me to do. That's why I do once in a while get models, so you guys can see that if I could do a model with something really random, obviously I could do the other ones that I'm showing you guys on mannequins on real people too. Now this is the part that is kind of a little heavy. If you was going to be looking at the picture again, let me just look at that really quick. I want to get this a little bit less heavy, but I want to maintain the length. So what I do is I take the top part, this is the one I cut on the layers, and then I'm going to come out with my test tracings here, and then I'm going to be doing a little bit more extra length cut out, but not like the length. Keeping the length, what I'm doing is taking some of the bulk, so the hair looks a little more piecey, and it's going to go better into those points that we just create, and create more of that kind of matching with this other side, so it doesn't look too heavy and bulky. But you see, just by removing a little of that, this is the type of shears that I'm using. You see, it's got like a wider teeth. This allows you to get like a razor finish look without getting the split ends that you get from the razors. You can see how that's already creating those pointies that we wanted, and this all connecting already with the back. If you want the hair to flip out, you go in this direction. If you want it to go on the direction, just go in the direction. If you want it to go under, like on this area I want it to go under, I'm going to be moving on this direction. This will allow me to actually continue keeping the length, but giving me a little bit less of the bulk, kind of flavor. You see how that's all kind of blended? Really nice blended, all really nice piecing out, and now it looks all like a Spiral 1 hairstyle. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Let me turn around so you guys can all see it. See, what I was trying to is basically, you see, find a good spot, right? This way here. Okay, so you see it's like very heavy, no? So you see that's very heavy because we didn't cut any of that. So we just create the perimeter shape. So I take the top part of it, and then I skimming on the top of the head, going on the direction of the haircut. So going on the direction of the haircut, I just go skimming and taking some of the bulk out of the haircut, but maintaining the length. So take maintaining the length and taking some of the bulk. Okay, removing that part of it and take it in. Take it, give it the directional haircut. This part I wanted to blend a little more back. And then remember the top, I wanted to go under, so I'm just using this other direction on the hair, going this way. Again, I'm preserving the length, and I'm getting all blended, but I'm not cutting too much into the hair. I'm just basically giving it a connection, even though it's disconnected, to get this kind of chunkier pieces there. Now the problem is if you start cutting the hair with holding it with your fingers on the hair, you never can get this kind of looks, because you're actually cutting into the haircut too much, and you are not allowing to add this disconnection where everything has to be all connected. No, every single haircut has to be connected, has to be blended, and kind of has to have a shape. So I want to have my hair to go forward and get it falling here. I gotta keep it long in here and gotta give it this direction of the haircut. I want it to flip out on the sides, I gotta go in that direction. I don't want to take too much texture on the back because already it's fine, the hair. I want to give me some more connection right here, so I go to give it under, and under. And if you look at the back right now, let me show you here this. You can see it. You can still clearly see the length that I created, that solid form, that kind of square layer there. That is very blended and start already from that point connected into the rest of the layers that we did. So you get that kind of Medusa style kind of vibe into the haircut. I could spend some more time doing a little more finishing with the round brush and all that, just to make it more like the picture. But I think this gives you guys a good idea how the shape of the haircut, and you saw how I did it, how I styled it. It was basically, is it good here? It's basically air dry. I basically put the head down and give it some air. So I'll do the same thing with the client. Tell the head, go the head down, come with the direction of the hair like that. Maybe you can add some product, it's going to give you more extra texture, like a clay, or maybe you can use some sea salt or something, it's going to give you extra texture. Now the front part of it is still too heavy. I haven't worked this area now. I'm going to show you how I will work this area by producing those points and connect it this way. Okay, so I'm going to take the top part of it, the same thing I did when I did this part. Still slightly wet. Let me just dry it out a little more. Thank you for all the extra suggestions. I'm glad you guys joining in for this. Okay, so right now I got exposure to the bangs. So I'm going to, like I say, I'm going to take this part of the way. I don't need to work on that section first. I want to work on these points. So I already create my points. That was one of the points. So I'm connecting a little bit on the side. It's disconnected, no, it drops. That was the second one right here. So I'm going to give it a little more pointy by using this. Same thing, this was the center one. So I'm going to sit down on the center, cut it a little more. Remember, I cut it by going into the points. So if you want to keep going, I go in the direction I did before, and I just get my points. Go to the side, do the same thing. Here's the point. Blend it down a little bit. So that's not too heavy. This one goes this direction. So again, there it goes. That's the piece. That's the other piece. That's the other piece. So I can totally get that kind of super anime style that you people do with or that kind of super video game style from Genshin Impact that you can get through those bangs. Now I think this is too heavy on the top, so I'm going to lift it up, and the heaviness is coming from this piece right here. You guys see this piece here in the center, this piece right here. So I'm going to add some layering that sits on there. So it's this whole corner right here that I need to remove. So that will be like me cutting basically this angle right here. Okay, so you see that? This is cut that angle right there, which is having all those layers sitting shorter on top of my bangs, so I can get extra layer there. So right there now, it sits on top. Because this haircut is kind of set on the center and go this way here. I can take a little bit of the bulk here, grab a little side here, and do the same thing. And you guys see how I just already line up all the front area. I still have my points on the side, still have my point on the bangs, still have my other two sides here with the points, and I have all my long hair on the sides back. So that's basically how I'll approach to this hairstyle. And you know, now after I'm done with the call, I'll do a little more blow drying. I just don't wanna you know, kind of take a lot of time here with you guys just blow drying the hair. But you guys get the idea of how I kind of approach to the haircut. I'll be doing some blow drying, putting some more product, and then I'll post the pictures for you guys to see. I might put it on Instagram tomorrow morning after I process with them today. So basically, this is what I wanted to do today. And let me just recap really quick what I did. First, you know, I wanted to share with you guys why I started this. I started this because during COVID I couldn't teach anybody, and because a lot of people, when they start watching my videos, they told me, Angel, well, nobody can cut the hair like you in my neighborhood, or nobody can cut my hair on my country. And we're talking about a lot of people watching these videos these days. A lot of people say, well, those haircuts are impossible. They are too hard to do. And then if it's too hard to do, people are not going to do it. So when people see something like this, with this kind of structure, with this kind of layers, with this kind of movement, they don't even know what to start. So I create this deconstruction process, which allow people to look at the beginning of the picture, figure out these elements, the design, you know, as we use here on the graphics. So we did first the artistic drawing, and I show you the process. Then we did this graphic design area. When I was looking at the perimeter, where the banks are, the frame, that's the mathematical part of it. So when I cut the hair, you saw me how I went. Boom, 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 boom. And then I came with the layers, and I just used those angles that I already told you I was going to cut. So I was never lost. I already knew just by looking at the picture, the process. So that's why a lot of times when people see my work, they say, well, Angel, how you make this always work? And how you make it so easy, how you make it so simple. And that's why, because I have a process that it made it simplify things. Obviously, I spent 40 years cutting hair, and I might have more experience than a lot of people doing it. But that doesn't mean that this cannot be learned. So the idea is that some of you guys, maybe professionals here, can get this course and get going. I mean, I make it super affordable because this is for all over the world. I mean, for $19, you can be a member of this every single month. You know, attend my Zoom calls, and I do a Zoom call for everybody for every two weeks. I post a brand new video with how to use these techniques every single week. You guys all have access to that. If you're a consumer and you want to know all the haircuts that I done, you come to the website. You can see all of them there. More like a longer video, not the short TikToks or whatever you might have seen on the past. You know, it's the whole videos. It's tutorial based. It's, you know, you can be searched. You can be find. The idea is that you guys consumers can eventually get a partner on your area, somebody, a professional can cut hair like you guys wanted to get a haircut. You know, so that's my hope. That's my goal, to help out the professionals to be able to do this, and for you guys, the consumers, to find that. So that's why this website, the hairbendermaster.com, is what I have created, with the hope that I can just help you guys all in. I hope it's been a helpful thing today. I mean, this was a lot of learning. We had to go back to the board and figure out how to do this better, so I can share my screen, do video, not see myself 20 times, and get the nightmare that we had to start up this today. But if you come to see this today, I want to thank you in person. If you get to see this later on a replay, thank you for doing that as well too. I don't know if it's anybody. Okay, so thank you for very much. It was extremely interesting to see techniques, especially from outside the profession. I started to watch during the COVID. Was looking for. Oh, so thank you very much. Be happy. Vegeta, you know, gracias as well. Thank you. So, and some Spanish speaking as well too. So that's what I do all these videos as well on Spanish, you know, because, it's my people. I want to help the community. So thank you for all joining in. Next time that I will do this, it's going to be 2 weeks from now. It will be a Spanish version, and it's going to happen at 5 o'clock Central Time, and I will do an English on the same day, on the 7 o'clock Central Time. So it'll be like an hour event or an hour and a half event or whatever it takes for me to do a haircut. The cool thing is that the next time I'm not going to choose the haircut. I'm going to go into the community, into TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and ask everybody to give us suggestions of what haircut you guys want me to see. And the one then it gets the most votes is the one I'm going to be doing. So I want you guys to keep an eye on that. It's going to happen 2 weeks from now. So within the next week, I'll start asking you guys to give me some suggestions, and then we'll put on YouTube. We'll have a way for you guys to vote and tell us which one out of the 5 suggestions that everybody made is your one that you like the most, and I'll be doing that. And if you guys like this kind of video content, and these kind of live events. I'll start doing that once a month to share as much as I can, and maybe help you guys out. If any of you guys are professional, next week I'll be working. This weekend I'll be doing a big show at the Connecticut Barber Show, which is the #1 barber shop in the world show, and that's happening on Connecticut on the Mohegan Sun Casino, and I'll be doing a main stage actually with another really famous barber as well called Benji the barber from Puerto Rico. So him and I will be in a stage. Actually, it's going to be cool if you guys haven't. So you guys all familiar with this. These are some of those VR goggles. So it's going to be all based on virtual reality made real. So how we can like take all this virtual reality, make it a reality for us today, and that's what I'll be presenting in there. So if you got the chance to be there, love to meet you in person. Come and say hi to me. So really tracing the graphic design approach for the site. Thank you very much, Silver Scissors. I appreciate that, and I think you guys terrific. So thank you very much. Look forward to see you. Keep leaving me comments on the site here. I'll be checking on them later. And if you see anybody that has a particular question that I want to answer, I'll let you go. I will answer right there so I can help you as well on your personal question. So that's all from me here. This is Angel del Solar, the Hairbender. See you next time.